Hello, everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 65, the Phoenix Lights. Hopefully the audio's fine. I think it's fine. B-Lynn was here hours ago. First in the chat. Welcome. It is Saturday, October 8th, 2022. She says, hey, Lockbeard, I've been interested in this subject ever since it happened. To date, there's still no actual reason or proof for what this event was. Yeah, people need to be pretty careful about coming to a conclusion. They do. Grasshopper says, and stuff like that there. Not sure what you're talking about there, but welcome. Welcome, Mr. Lee and Donald and who else is lots of highs and hellos. Angel, welcome. Rex Hand, welcome. Get past all the hello. Maybe this is a prox for tonight's subject. Say what now? Speaking in code, perhaps. Donald says, I'm sore as hell today. Carver ending. Yeah, been there. I didn't get injured though, but the car was totaled. Well, insurance company considered it totaled. I drove it around for a while like that. Yeah. Texting and driving. Folks need to chill with that. It's causing so many problems. Gary's here. Welcome. He says, when one's eyes don't lie, discovering the truth to what's really out there. Now, sometimes your eyes can lie to you. Sometimes your eyes play tricks on you, man. Didn't have insurance? Yeah, it can be a problem. Let's see. Covered. Never mind the money. Health is more important. Mr. Lee says, fantastic intro. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Yeah, when I got rear-ended, it was paid by their insurance because it was their fault. Health is better than any wealth. Gives you goosebumps. Thank you, Donald. Audio's very good. Awesome. Yeah, somewhere out in the universe. Chessboard's here. Welcome. It's already Sunday for Mr. Lee. Midnight 06 for you, isn't it? Jen, welcome. Thank you, Gary. StreamYard. I know StreamYard's been working on stuff because they've changed a few things a little bit. But why can't they fix this chat nonsense? SpaceX launch. Yeah. I guess the cell of Twitter is off again. It's off and on. Elon and Twitter. Um, I kind of hope he I kind of hope he just walks away and then does something better with his time and his money. If he's going to fiddle with social media, I think he should join forces with a Twitter alternative and outcompete their ass. Twitter deserves to be just crushed underfoot, is what they deserve. Ida Bustamante is here. Welcome. Sandra Piper's here. Welcome. Stop a jumping, chat. Stop a jumping. Rex Hand. Some people saying hello to Rex Hand there, I see. Awesome. This is a news report. This is actually what they were just talking about. This is not part of what they're about to talk about, but this. What are they talking about? Atlanta, Georgia's the #1 best place to live in the U.S. That can't be possible. They don't even have any Bigfoot in Georgia. How can that be the #1? Why isn't Oklahoma on this list?
Arizona has a long history of UFO sightings, but a new study shows that our state is a hot spot for UFOs. We rank 7th in the nation with a total of 4,721 UFO sightings. California has the most sightings. Now, in the last 5 years, the same data shows that there have been nearly 1,000 UFO sightings for every 100,000 residents. And some other facts released in that study: nearly 4 in 5 Americans believe aliens do exist. 56% of people surveyed believe aliens have actually been to Earth. One of the most popular phenomenons, of course, in Phoenix is called the Phoenix Lights. Thousands of people reported seeing a V-shaped light formation in the sky over the valley. This was back in 1997. There has still been no explanation for it. If you're considering...
Yep, no explanation. Let's see here. Yeah, chat just rolls. Chat's just a rolling. Cowboy here? Did I skip him somewhere? I must have skipped him. Cowboy saw a Phoenix light. So did Moog's dad. Was Moog? Yeah, I was kind of wondering that if Moog's was there when this happened. Donald says Vermont used to be on that list, but I think the cost of living has taken them out of the running. Yeah, I imagine it could. It could do that.
The story that's baffled people in Phoenix for more than 2 decades. If there were iPhones or Twitter back in 1997, the Phoenix Lights would have been trending for weeks. It's a huge story back then and continues to raise eyebrows today as the focal point of a list of documentaries and books. This Wednesday marks the 22nd anniversary of the lights that were described as everything from extraterrestrial visitors to flare and secret government aircraft, even a hoax. Team 12's Trisha Hendricks spoke with a woman who witnessed and documented the Phoenix Lights.
People were seeing these lights that either seemed to be attached to something or had a force field in between, because when they looked up, They blocked out the stars in between the light.
Dr. Lynn Keatai, reflecting on what she saw back on March 13, 1997, a string of lights shaped in a V hovering above the valley skies.
Going through my mind, I was thinking, who are you? What are you? Do you know that I'm here? I'd love to meet you.
For more than 2 decades now, countless explanations and claims have surfaced surrounding what she saw.
I got it on 35mm film. This is in the negative. It cannot be denied, or to date, 22 years later, be explained. We're talking totally silent. At rooftop level, people watched these phenomena just glide right over their heads.
Authorities have said the lights were flares used by the Air National Guard, but many still believe this was a signal from another life form.
I saw these things up close and personal. They were not flares.
The lights in the sky still a mystery to many.
Some people can't deal with this topic. Some people don't want to, and that's okay.
Lynn's mission is clear. She wants to make sure the world doesn't forget the Phoenix Lights. She even wrote a book, The Phoenix Lights, and produced an award-winning documentary of her sighting of floating orbs.
People can make up their own mind. I'm not saying what these are. People that have an experience, a true paranormal experience, it's not a belief, it's a knowing. And as I tell everyone else, keep looking up.
If you'd like to watch the Phoenix Lights documentary, a special screening will take place on March 17th at the Harkin Shea Theater. In Scottsdale, Trisha Hendricks.
This was a report from a few years ago. We're at over 25 years now since this occurred, but it's still, pretty important sighting and unexplained. Although some people might try to explain it away. Joe's here. Welcome. He says, "What kind of nonsense you folks getting into tonight?" Just a little UFO nonsense. Yeah. Coming back. Explain Phoenix Lights? Are you not familiar with the event? Well, it sounds like there may be more than one thing that was observed, or things. It depends on how you interpret what they were looking at. Because like she was saying, a lot of people didn't say that there was one object with the lights were on a large object, a huge object. However, other cases of lights like this, they see them in there and the lights move independently. Although I saw somewhere where they were talking about one of the lights on this object was moving from one location to another on the object somehow. So however that works, I don't know why that would be, what that means. If you're not familiar with it, you're going to get some of it in some of these videos, so you'll kind of know what happened. Chinese lanterns strategically tied together. Do you really think that's what it was? Because there was that case later on where a guy claimed that he used helium balloons, and I got a news report on that too, with flares tied to them. But of course, we don't. The guy didn't have his identity revealed, as far as I'm aware of, and so how can we confirm that he isn't just some government agent giving us some bullshit story, or just some crazy person that wants attention or something? Pug ugly guys. Yeah. Mr. Lee says, "Joe, you are insulting my dog man." Is he? Well, did Joe pass hello? I don't think Joe passes here. I think Mr. Lee or somebody just mentioned him. Audio is echoing badly when you play the video. I was afraid of that. I don't know how to defeat this. All right, I'm unplugging the headphone now. All right, hopefully you can hear me now. And I don't know if it's better or worse. You can let me know. Puppy monkey baby, Mr. Lee. Thanking me that's possible. Yeah, it lasted for hours. And thousands of people saw him. Mr. Lee says, Joe, she is old pug lady. Her tongue hangs out. She's so pretty, though. Ernie's here. Welcome. He's walking his dog. Pugs. Pugs are... Only humans would take a wolf and turn it into that sorry little thing. They're very cute, but a pug is nothing more than just a snack for anything in the woods, really. It couldn't survive very long on its own. Rex Hansen's Oklahoma should be lived there 15 years and probably going to move back. Yeah. I mean, it has its problems, but it's not horrible. Anyone with a lick of sense in their head in California should be moving. Well, I don't want them to move to Oklahoma. We got enough people from California and Oklahoma. And they're going to start, just like they were worried about in Texas, about them affecting the politics there. They're going to leave California that they screwed up with their politics, and then they're not going to understand that it was them, that they played a part, even though they're not as far left loons as the people they left behind for the most part. They're still going to bring that. They're going to still bring their politics. They're just too far left, and they're just flat wrong. You know, both parties are straight up wrong and un-American on different issues, and they won't listen. They won't listen to the other side at all. And that's why we need leadership that is a member of neither party ever again, period. It needs to go the fuck away. I'm sorry. Yeah, both parties have lost me entirely. The two major parties, because of this nonsense. It's just ridiculous. You're both wrong on certain things, but it's just like neither one will hear it. You will accept our entire platform or you suck. So I saw the email. Looks similar. I don't know where that video came from for them that they put up on there. Grasshopper says, lock your mic is picking up the video as you play it. That's the echo. Yeah, I don't know how to stop it though. Like I would think that on the headphones that wouldn't be an issue, but it still is, and I don't know why it is. Sounds good, Mr. Lee. Beatlin says, Lockbeard, you're fine. Just when you play a video like you just did, that news reporter sound echoes. You're right now. Sounds excellent. Yeah, but when I play the video now, it's because usually this is what I do. I just don't use because I haven't been able to figure out how to easily deal with that echo issue when playing videos. Joe says, I don't know what the Phoenix lights were. Flares tend to fall back to Earth, and they didn't seem to be doing that. So I don't have a guess. But then what do I know? Well, I mean, we don't. None of us know. The guy who said the incident that happened in 2007 or 8. Let me see if I can find out. Yeah, the one in 2008, the guy claimed that he tied flares to helium balloons. I don't know. I don't know if that's what really happened, but you know, but that wasn't the Phoenix lights most people are talking about. That happened in 97. Let me bring up another news report. Donald said, "Did you skip my comment on purpose?" What comment? Let me go back. Hold on. Oh, this one? I don't know how I missed that. All I know is it wasn't the mothership. It was a prank of some sort. The Phoenix light, well, is awful huge just to be a prank. You know, why would aliens come and just gently fly over, silently, just gently fly over with lights on? You know, that they want to be seen. They're like, are they all up there pointing out the windows and laughing at us? Look at those stupid humans looking up here like they ain't ever seen a spaceship before. It just don't make any. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It would make more sense to me that what we had was an energy fluctuation, frequencies interacting in ways they're not supposed to normally. It would make more sense to me that we were seeing either a life form or an artificially constructed object, a spacecraft or something that exists in adjacent frequencies that we can't normally perceive, and that for whatever reason, for that period of time, there was just a fluctuation in the frequencies that allowed us to be able to see into a frequency range that we're normally not supposed to see into. So it would make sense that we may see it and not hear it. You know, because the reason why we can interact with everything in our reality is because we evolved in this range of frequencies, right? We can only see so much, right? There's certain things, visible light. You know, our technology allows us to detect things that are beyond that to some extent, infrared and so on. And some animals actually have the gear to be able to see infrared, whereas we do not. So we know that there are frequencies that are observable by some life forms that we can't observe. Why is it so hard for people to believe and understand that, you know, these frequencies go on and on and on? It isn't like they only go out so far and stop. They go further. And to understand that if this is the frequency range that we exist in, and we have the gear to interact with, we have ears that can hear sound in this range, and eyes that can see light in this range. And I don't know why people can't quite wrap their mind around the fact that these solid objects are light. It's the same goddamn thing. The only difference is it's ultra high energy material. It's solid to us because it's ultra high energy light. I mean, it's not light in the sense that they're the same thing. Solid objects and light are all the same thing. And so, we can interact with things in this range. We can touch some of it. We can see some of it. But, and we know that there's things a little bit further out there. Our technology, we've been able to see a little further. But what if, here we are over here, and there's another range over here that normally we don't overlap with very much, right? Usually we're kind of separated. And within this range over here is a whole nother ecosystem going on. They're right here amongst us, but we can't interact with them. Their frequencies are just way too far away from ours. And so what if occasionally things overlap a little bit more than what they're supposed to? Maybe we're, exposed to some kind of fluctuations in energy, and it's just a normal thing. And then, of course, we see these things. It's more likely it's something like that than it is that aliens come over and just slowly cruised over with the lights on. That's just kind of ridiculous to me. But probably more likely than that, this is some kind of government operation, right? Well, actually, a lot more likely, probably. But it's probably a government operation. It's probably something the government had. They probably did it on purpose. Because why would the government purposely fly some shit over with the lights on for everybody to see, unless they were purposely trying to get this kind of reaction? They wanted people to think that there was an alien ship flying over. It's just like admitting UFOs are and then saying we don't know what they are. Well, I think y'all heard Leon the other night talking about the guy that has a patent on something that can move that fast and so on and so forth, and basically saying that same thing, that these UFOs, probably government, at least most of it or a lot of it, but possibly all of it. And now I will say that I think that they got some of this technology from another more technologically advanced civilization, one that existed prior to us, before the Younger Dryas impact, which we talked about that before. And some of their technology was left behind, and the government, anytime something pops up in an archaeological site, they'll guarantee the government's all on top of it, because they were technology. There's no way they constructed all the things they constructed without having, for example, anti-gravity technology, which is totally a possibility. It's just that most people can't quite wrap their minds around that possibility. And again, like I was mentioning last night about Ken Wheeler, I'm always trying to tell people that, look, I know it's when you first see the guy, you're like, what the fuck is this? He seems like he's kind of lost his damn mind. But he will introduce you to the science that the mainstream will not accept, right? The mainstream wants you to believe in some ridiculous concept like space-time. Space-time is so goddamn stupid, but it just boggles the mind. But unfortunately, they've been, science fiction's been programming you with this shit, and there's probably some government involvement, because they want you to believe that two things that aren't a thing, right? Time is a measurement, and space is not a fucking thing. And then they put them together, and like suddenly it's a fabric of space-time. They come up with ridiculous nonsense like dark matter, dark energy, quantum foam. It goes on, and it's all basically complete misinterpretation of the observations. Proper interpretations of the observations will get you to the real scientific explanation, not the complete and utter nonsense that is quantum physics, which is a complete load of shit. And this gets us to a problem where most people, like, they seriously do not want to fuck. They don't even want to go down that road. They don't want to they don't want to learn some pretty heavy science there. You know, most people don't got time, or they don't have the interest in. But you know, it's science is necessary to understand our universe, and you kind of, if you want to understand certain things, the only way to really get there is to understand the science. And the only person I know of that's out there teaching the right scientific interpretation of the observations that we have from mainstream science is Ken Wheeler. There's some other people throwing some stuff around, but the dude has he has done what he has done is just immeasurably valuable to humanity, and one day he will be recognized for that, and people will mock the plagiarist Einstein into forever because he was not the genius that he's been painted. And as Ken often mentions, there's multiple books written about how Einstein plagiarized a bunch of his material. He didn't really think of much of anything really, other than marrying his double cousin, and well, she was like his first cousin by one relation, and then second cousin by another relation. Dude, whatever. So, yeah. Already been read that. Where was I at? Where was that? Here we go. Liberalism is a disease. Like anything out there, politics is a pain in the arse. Yeah. I mean, there's some liberal positions that I agree with, because they're the ones that are the liberty, right? Because Democrats want liberty on these set of issues over here, and Republicans want liberty on this other set of issues over here. But they can't seem to understand that we need to have all those liberties, the lefty ones and the righty ones. We need to be goddamn free. And they're both trying to take certain liberties somehow, some way. Yeah, but that's a pain in the ass, and I forget to unmute sometimes. Grasshopper says the flares, quotation marks, were allegedly hanging on parachutes and fell slowly, moving with the wind. Yeah, I mean, could be. Silently, yeah, just like a fart. Phoenix Light 9, still unknown case. 2007, 2008 probable hoaxes. Yeah. Mitchell says chessboard. No, I make my big noise for them. My girlfriend laughs her head off every time. Joe says, I don't know, Graz. I'm not saying I'm convinced it was an alien crap, but in my military experience, when it comes to flares being dropped, it doesn't look like that to me. Is it because I would think that they would move around too much in relation to, because how would you keep them in that triangular shape if it was just parachutes, flares and parachutes, unless they got some sort of ability to, like their drones, to control their, which, we have drones now. This one, that really, 25 years ago, government probably had drones as good as what we can buy today, for all we know, because they're always, they say they're always 20 years ahead of us or so. Joe says, holy crap, I just realized I have a wrench. Yeah, I handed out a bunch of wrenches recently. Joe, correct, they're not flares. Yeah, I don't think they're flares. I think the most likely explanation is probably military involvement, but flares, has he never had a wrench before? Where's Raptor at? Apparently Raptor don't want to have his wrench. I guess which I don't understand. Raptor has been upset about wrenches being heavy-handed with him, and now that he has the opportunity to show how it's done, he don't want the goddamn wrench. Which, hey, finally we heard him on Pat's call-in show last night, and heard his voice, and he did not sound the way I expected, and apparently some other people have said the same thing. Because the way things come across in chat, it always seems like English is his second language. Like he sentences don't quite make sense sometimes, and his reaction to things just doesn't make sense sometimes. Like he doesn't quite understand what's going on. But on the phone, he sounded like a perfectly normal American. So I don't know what's going on. Like, is this what it sounds like when you communicate in a chat room with someone that has an ancient phone? Because he says he has an old ass phone. We need Raptor to get a new phone. He's probably scared. These new phones are scary ass motherfuckers, though. They listen to everything you say. Yeah. Falling way behind again. Yeah, almost, Mr. Lee. The wrench in your situation. Danny's here. Welcome, Danny. Makes so much sense to you. Yeah, it's just I just know that a lot of people, if they step in there, like it's going to take time. Anyone that's going to go over there, it is going to take time. Like you got to understand there's a lot of material. He's got thousands of videos up there, and you got to sort out around, like, some of them are talk about politics and prepping and leather work and photography, and you got to, if you're like me and you don't really care about the photography stuff, you got to sort that stuff out and get down to the science stuff. And you've got to understand what you think you know about science is bullshit. Some of it, not all of it. I'm pro science all the way. The problem is the science has been plagued with some blind alleys, some dead ends, some quantum, like, people, so often you run across people that are questioning the how is the Earth a sphere? Well, of course, that's pretty solid science. Is evolution real? Yes, of course, evolution's real. That evolutionary biology is extremely well founded. It's extremely well supported. There's such a huge amount of evidence for that. It's almost laughable that anybody questions evolutionary biology at this point. But quantum physics is such bullshit that it's just laughable. I feel like anthropology is falling apart in some regards, or they're falling behind. Like I don't know how long. Because the moment we heard the news that we Neanderthal DNA is present, and not only is it present, we can see different amounts of it depending on what area of the world you're from, and the highest concentration is the highest levels of Neanderthal DNA is in the European population, of course, as it should be, because that's the area that the Neanderthals were at. And that tells us that we bred freely and normally with them. This wasn't lions and tigers, which are pretty much speciated but can still produce a dysfunctional offspring. They produce some kind of offspring, but it's not a normal reproductive situation. But with the Neanderthals, we apparently did reproduce just fine, which means they were not a separate species. And anthropology should have jumped on that like that, and they didn't, because I don't know why. Is it because people would reject it? People would not be able to absorb that and get it to their head, like no, this is the knuckle dragging idiots. No, these people were not knuckle dragging idiots. They were at a pretty much equivalent level of technology as we were at the time, although they had a bigger cranial capacity. They were not knuckle dragging idiots. They may have had a slightly different behavioral characteristics, which we see in different races of people. It's normal. It's not fucking, some people can't understand. You have genetics that govern some of your behavior. It's not just what you look like. It's not just what kind of foods you can handle or what kind of diseases you're more susceptible to. It also goes to how you think and what your behavior is to some extent. You have everyone in this human species does behave, within a certain this range, but some people will be kind of more over here and some people will be more over here, but they'll still be, in the human range, but there is some variation. And I'm sure Neanderthals had some of that. And, but that kind of went on a tangent there. But the reality is they were the same species as us. Neanderthals were not a separate species. They were a race of people, and they just got blended out. They were the first Europeans, really. They were the first Europeans. Yeah, I better catch up in this chat. Maybe drones with drop lights, have them stay. Maybe drones with drop lights to have them stay. Maybe. Long live Odin. I don't know why I said that. Lockbeard got me all worked. Yeah, long live Odin. Odin. Like the ancient monarchs, most of the some of the royal lineages today claim that their ancestry goes all the way back to Odin. But those are the real kings. I think, when I was talking to Mr. Lee about who is the legitimate king of Britain, but England today. And of course, we were looking at that documentary where they said they traced it to that guy in Australia, but no, I say it goes back before his line, before some invasions took place and some religious turmoil to the ancient pagan kings in the British Isles. Some descendant of them should be the king. The king, not just. I don't think there should be just one king though, because you have England, you have Scotland, and so forth, and there should be at least 3 kings in that region there. I think, but because it's too much territory for one king to have control of. Hold the fort, Donald. Is Donald the skip Donald? Where's run to the store? Gotcha. Joe says, I don't talk politics. Why? Because I'd rather like someone for all the stuff we have in common instead of not liking someone just because of their political leanings. Yeah, there's been people have some serious falling outs over politics. And I mean, that's becoming more commonplace because they're programming people like that. The television's that's why everyone should throw their damn TV in the trash and never buy another one. And then when you find your entertainment on the computer or on your phone, just be extremely mindful of what you consume and try to identify when it's full of programming and ridiculous brainwashing that you don't want. Donald says, one comment, if solid object DEFCON 12 would have been implemented and every jet on the West Coast would have been scrambled. Yeah, and so like the scenario I was describing, that what we were seeing was something that would normally be completely invisible and not something that we could physically touch over in one of those other in an adjacent range of frequencies. So it would make sense that we might be able to get a visual on something in that other range of frequencies on occasion under the right, electromagnetic conditions. It may not be detectable, um, by radar and stuff like that. So, there literally would not really, we would see this thing and it may be completely solid object, but they could fire missiles at it all day long and nothing would goddamn happen, except for nukes. I think there's a problem with nukes where the effects of a nuclear explosion can be felt in greater frequency ranges than just the frequency range we're in. Because we're too stuck in the human mindset, our narrow frame of understanding of the universe, our narrow perceptions of things. And one day people will they'll get it. They'll understand there is vastly more to the world around you than what you can actually perceive, or that you will ever actually be able to perceive. It's some people want to call it other dimensions or whatever, but I don't like that terminology. It's all the same one universe. There isn't other dimension, and they watch stuff like the multiverse stuff in science fiction, and they listen to mainstream scientists saying, "Oh well, there's got to be, multiple realities. This is what the math tells us, blah, blah, blah." No, you guys just don't fucking understand how this shit works. I mean, you guys look fucking like dark matter, man. Quantum foam. It's just, they don't understand, how the universe really works. They're interpreting things wrong. I don't know why they're doing it. Everything, of course, and everything's got to be a particle, right? Everything's got to be controllable particle. Even time, like they think time's got to be controlled, but there's got to be a particle that explains this shit. No, there does not got to be a particle to explain this shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, sweaty stuff. Yep. Wrench. Jen, you don't have a wrench? Let me see here. You don't have a wrench. How did that happen? We can fix that. Maybe throw another one out there. Maybe Sandra. There we go. Have to jump over to YouTube. I can't. There's certain things I can't do because I'm looking at you. I'm on StreamYard, and you guys are looking at YouTube. I'm not looking at YouTube. Ideally, it'd be better if I could just turn YouTube off, and do everything right here, and not jump over there. But StreamYard's, they got some improvements to make. They need to email me. We gotta improve this shit. I think drone technology evolved before we knew about it, and it could have been drones flying in formation with drop lights. Absolutely. And of course, how do they block out the stars in between over such a vast area of the sky like that? Hey, I mean, Jen don't have a wrench on your channel, Joe? Gary says 2 buzz around, saving gas. Almost like saying he saved a lot with Gecko. What in the hell is he talking about? Old phone, maybe a flip top. Maybe that's what. Maybe that explains it. You can interact perfectly well. Tracy says, hello, people. I would type everyone's name, fingers numb. Let's go. Welcome, Tracy. Welcome, Mr. Hugh. Welcome, welcome. Lots of welcomes here. Lots of hellos. I'm scrolling down because I'm way behind, so if I miss anything, sorry. Pistol. Oh, Jesus. Of course, the chat vanished again. Joe, there's a new series started, Werewolf by Night. Well, hopefully they made it good, Mr. Lee. Streaming. Is it on streaming? Disney Channel. Joe says, names are just names, a way to give some kind of classification. Neanderthals were a human species, just like so many others. And Denisovans were humans, so were Homo erectus. Well, yeah, but we have to actually designate like a population of a kind, right, that can interbreed normally. There's the designation for that is species, and so. And that's an important designation because, you know, we could, if Homo erectus cannot interbreed with Homo sapiens, well, that's why we need to name it, you know, with a species in the species position, erectus, right? Homo is the genus, erectus is the species. And if we got Homo sapiens over here, we know from the classification that they are separate species that cannot interbreed with each other. So that they need to name things accurately and get it changed when we get the new information that proves that proves that something is this species or that species. And so when that information came across, they should have immediately changed Homo neanderthalensis into Homo sapiens subspecies Neanderthalensis, because you could designate it as subspecies, but it would still be our species, right? It's just you know, to me, subspecies is just another name for race or breed or whatever. But if they don't stick to that rule, then we're just getting a bunch of just garbled up science that's it's a failure. They failed. I'm starting to see some reference. I have seen some reference of late to Neanderthals as Homo sapiens Neanderthalensis, though. So once again, someone listened to me. I don't know if they listened to me. They just someone else probably knew exactly what I knew the moment I heard that. I hate it when they fuck shit up like this. Pass nothing. Hit it, knucklehead. Heidelbergensis, Floresiensis, the list goes on. They were all human. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're referring to the genus, yeah, but we need to differentiate what species. We need a difference. Like I said, we got to differentiate because I don't believe for a second that Heidelbergensis or Floresiensis are separate species from Homo sapiens either. They're naming them as if they are, but I don't believe it's the case. And I would like to see the science done. Hopefully, it will be eventually to prove me right on that stuff. There, I think that eventually, if we can get accurate science or good enough science to prove this, we'll be calling them Homo sapiens subspecies Heidelbergensis, Homo sapiens subspecies Floresiensis, and so on, and possibly going all the way back to Erectus. And the reason is because we had Erectus in some areas or Gaster in other areas, and then of course there's a whole debate. Well, are they really just the same thing? And the answer is goddamn yes. And and of course, they're spreading out across the world, and so the genes are mixing too much at that time already. At the time of Ergaster and Erectus, and the genes are mixing because humans are intelligent enough that they're moving around and able to adapt to a wide variety of habitats, which means you got too much gene mixing, you are not going to have speciation. So, unless because you need to have some form of, typically geographic isolation, but there can be other forms of isolation. But without that, you're not going to have speciation or differentiation into separate populations that their genetics are different enough that they can no longer interbreed in a normal fashion. And I don't think that it was remotely possible from at the latest Erectus, and possibly going back further than that. So when they name these things as if they're species based on precisely dick, because somebody wants that, oh, I named this species, I discovered this species, I found these bones, and they're a new species of human. Subspecies, perhaps. You're jumping the gun, claiming it's a separate species, and so I'm about ready to fight with anthropology. I saw it was a species of human. Yeah, and yeah. So you normally, when I'm saying human, well, most people, they're thinking Homo sapiens, but because you're thinking, it sounds like you're thinking as far as the genus, right? Homo, the Homo, the genus, and that's the genus of humans. So yeah, I mean, maybe we need to be more careful when we say, human, if we mean specifically Homo sapiens as opposed to the whole genus of humans. But like I've said, gene mixing has been too much. For these differentiations to occur. So I don't think that if Sasquatch is real, I do not think it's a separate species either. So unfortunately, without the confirmed DNA, I can't prove that. But I mean, could try to go through my entire reasoning behind that hypothesis. But most people are still not going to accept it. I mean, we still got people that want to believe in the ape hypothesis, and calling that a hypothesis, I think, is an insult to the word hypothesis. But because anything we got that remotely approaches credible information about Sasquatch indicates that they are most definitely in the Homo genus. There's no goddamn way they're not in the Homo genus, and I think almost certainly they are Homo sapiens. And if they are, I hereby claim naming of this creature Homo sapiens subspecies salisburyensis. Boom. If someone finds out it's a separate species, they can name the damn thing, but because I don't think I've heard anyone say what I'm saying about this, so I think I get to claim whatever the vision to see that. Jen says his face alone says human. Mr. Lee says my mind boggling when I think about how much we've been brainwashed one way, thinking, oh man, even nutrition, everything, man. Yeah. Having a hard time breaking the people of of what they've been taught their whole lives. There's, you tell someone, no, broccoli is not healthy for you. Absolutely not. It's poisonous to humans. You eat it and you survive eating it, but you absolutely, if you want optimal health, should not eat goddamn broccoli. It's hard. People they've been programmed their entire lives to believe that it's a healthy superfood, right? That's absolutely 100% not. And I challenge everybody to dig and find out for yourselves. Don't eat plants if you can help it. I fall off the wagon all the time. I did the other day. But hopefully I can one day get to where I can stick to it again and feel so much better. You just start trimming down. You eat less, like way less. Like the hunger's gone because your body's getting the proper nutrition now, so it isn't crying out for nutrition. And like I said, I was measuring very, very thoroughly what I was eating. I was weighing out everything, and my intake went down below 33% of what I was eating before. You ask, how do you go back to 1/3 the food without even goddamn trying, without hunger? I went down to 1/3 the food because I just wasn't hungry anymore. Like before, I was hungry all the goddamn time. You eat in the morning and you want a snack, or you're about to starve to death by the time you hit lunch, and then you're about to starve to death before you get done with work, and then you pound protein shakes if you're gym rat and whatnot. And hungry all the goddamn time. Not anymore. Broke that shit all to hell because eating a 100% carnivorous diet gets your body the nutrition, the proper nutrition it needs, without all the poisons bombarding it and the anti-nutrients, and so it's constantly fighting, and then the disruption in your gut biome. It's not supposed to be the way your gut biome is when you eat plants, and of course it doesn't function correctly, and your bowel doesn't function correctly, your brain doesn't function correctly, nothing's goddamn functioning correctly, and so your body's in constant emergency mode trying to fight the poison that you're feeding it. When you eat carnivore, you end all that shit. But you gotta break the brainwashing. So I don't know. Everyone needs to do their own research, I guess, because they're not fucking listening to me most of the time. But when they do, every time someone listens, they come back and say, "Holy shit!" Some big words you must have Googled. What big words did he use? Are you talking about Heidelbergensis and Floresiensis? Yeah. Enough. Anyway, gorilla, what different species of primate from humans? Safe with all these mods. Lowrider, feel safe. Welcome, Lowrider. Joe says, now chessboard, it's just that I'm fairly well educated. Never let schooling interfere with your education. Jen says, thanks, Lock. I didn't know if you wanted to be a mod, but might as well. At this point, I give up. I was trying not to do mods, but whatever. Joe says, I know it was way up above, but how do we know that Homo erectus couldn't and didn't breed with Homo sapiens? There was a period where one was still in existence with the other. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think that they were separate species at all. I think Homo erectus was the same species as Homo sapiens because humans were spreading out across the world already, right? The genes, when humans are if your species is moving around that well, the gene mixing will not allow for speciation to occur. So I don't think speciation occurred. I think Homo erectus and Homo sapiens were not separate species because they want to portray it like they're ancestor species. Okay, whatever. But the reality is I don't think we've had a speciation event since we diverged from chimpanzees. Possibly. possibly going that far back. There could have been some early on speciation events, but in Africa perhaps, but I don't think so. I think the last speciation event was the common ancestor between humans and chimps, and that all these species, Australopithecines and I butchered that word. Going forward, they were just different versions of the same species. We were mixing genes too much. We couldn't divert into two anymore. Finally caught a lie. What you doing? Oh, talking UFOs and Squatch drones. 4 lines in that sentence. It was shaped. I don't know what you mean there exactly. Supposed to be 6 ghost lineages that can't place yet. There was a big human species boink fest going on, it seems. Yeah, and again, that completely supports what my contention is they if they're boinking, if they're making offspring in a normal fashion, they were never separate species. They were all one species. You can't breed with a separate species, and that's just people want to try and fog that up and say, a species can be that. No, we need a designation. What do you call a population of creatures that can only breed with their own? They can't breed with anything outside of them. What do you call that particular designation? Now, it's supposed to be species, but you got people that want to muddy the goddamn water. And so if you're not going to use species for it, I demand a goddamn word for that thing, because that's a goddamn thing, right? It's something we need to acknowledge. It's something that we need to deal with in science. And I thought that we had a word. It's called species. But apparently some people want to fuck that up. I've run across this a few times in the past, and it's like, what the hell? Oh, you're killing me. Month before the Phoenix Lights, there was also other sightings in areas. Yeah, there's sightings going on. It's just has a bad ring to it. Yeah, it's an unfortunate name for our genus. Yes. Only because of the ignorance of some people chessboard. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, would you consider having a debate with Dr. Meldrum? I don't know. Why do I need to debate Dr. Meldrum? I hope that he's legit, but I have my doubts. I don't know why. I don't know how a debate what purpose would that be? Belongs in the genus, I think. I could be wrong, but somehow I don't think I am. No, the morphological characteristics as well as the abilities, right? What a big creature like that being able to avoid humans this well, they get seen on occasion, but yet we never catch up, right? If we normally see an animal, we eventually catch up to it, right? We'll eventually catch up to it. Science will catch up to it. They're determined. The only way to explain this is I think at this point, well, it's not the only way, but I think it's beyond just being extremely elusive. Like, because a lot of people they've never seen a mountain lion, right? Or even a black bear. But they're out there. If you really look for them, you'll find them. There's people hunting black bear, that's why I was kind of making fun about the bear's den. It's like, okay, I mean, that's nice. You filmed baby, black bears giving birth in the den, but that only really, that's not as impressive as filming something in the play, the giant squid. He filmed the giant squid. Now that's a little more impressive, I think. You got to chase up down the big ass ocean, but when you can track black bear, you can find their den and then stick a camera in there and just wait. It's okay, but don't want to ride him too much on that. But No, but yeah, the morphological characteristics and the ability to stay clear of us as well as they can. If it was just an animal, you know, we would probably have more cases of them acting, you know, as far as like attacking people and stuff. But there seems to be a very, very strong culture. There's either it's a very strong culture or a very strong behavioral, genetically programmed behavioral characteristic not to attack humans, just to get the fuck out of Dodge if you see a human. This is why when you have cases where they do attack a human, people claiming that they were attacked by a Sasquatch, I have a little bit more skepticism of them stories. If Sasquatch has been attacking people, I think we would have caught up to him by now. Because that kind of motivates you to, yeah. So Gary Johnson says the following, like no one will comprehend it. Donald says, just popped on before my trip back home. What happened to the show topic? Well, we're on a tangent. We're gonna get back to it here in a second, though. Drive home. God. Sonic. Get Jay. Mark Dobbins here. Welcome. Chat's trying to lock up on me again. Trouble with pewter. Patty Lindsay says, Lockbeard, when I suffered a throat injury, the doctor ordered a red meat only diet until I healed. Said the red meat was what I needed most, and he was absolutely goddamn right. Only thing I would tell him to add is to tell you, do not trim the fat. Do not trim the fat off your steak. Actually, well, you know, whenever I go down to the buffet, you know, I think this lady looks at me weird sometimes because she figured out that this is what I want, because they got these big ass steaks on the grill at the buffet, and then you tell her kind of what you want. She'll try to give you one that's rare if you want rare or well done. I always ask for very rare and very fatty. You know, she's probably used to seeing people throw away the fat, but I'll eat all that goddamn fat because it's good for you. It's a health food. Never trim the fat off your meat. If you're not used to eating it, try to get used to eating it. Maybe put some. What really makes it good is like if you put a little extra, you know, like someone sent me that video about the. It's over in Europe. They're like the best steak restaurant in the world, and like he, you know, slices up their steak for them, and he takes a lot of the fat off, and they go and they put it back on the grill and get it crispy. If you ever eat crisp up your steak fat, it's really fucking good. You can do that. Like if I've done it when like from corned beef, like you know, once you get it cooked, take some of that fat out of there and put it in a pan and just fry it until it gets kind of crispy. Man, it's good. Man, it's good. Or pulled pork. You can take the pulled pork fat and do it. Well, I don't think you got him over there, Mr. Lee. I don't think you got him. Sasquatch flying over Phoenix. Yeah, Sasquatch is... That's why it's so big. It has to fit all the squatches in them. You had a sighting. You called him Pasta. The flying spaghetti monster, perhaps? His noodly goodness. Did he lay his noodly appendage upon you? Yes. Big plans next year. Joe says I have to jump off. See you, folks. Good anthropological chat. Lockbeard, see you soon. All right, I'll see you later, man. Thanks for dropping in. Rex says you have to figure what's more expensive steak. They don't want you to eat that. Yeah. I kind of wonder if, like, because I'm there a lot, although it's going to be a lot less now because, you know, and hopefully this is a job I can do a lot better, a lot more easily than that one from last year. Traveling, gonna be traveling quite a bit, but I'll be keeping my feet on the goddamn ground, and to be in some, a lot of times in the woods, in the open air, clean air, not in the middle of a damn factory. It's just a reality. My degree is not really the one I should have got. It's not the one I should have got. I should have got something else. But I didn't know that at the time. And, the advisors aren't really trying. It's a factory. A university is a factory. They're just pumping out. They're making money, right? They're making money. They're all about money. If they weren't, it's like it's like there's some really glaring, obvious things that happen too. They just send you the financial aid. Oh, no problem. We'll get you these loans, but when the financial aid money arrives, they don't give it to you immediately. They hold on to it for a couple of weeks in an interest-bearing account. But yeah, I think anyway. I think they I think they kind of watch, they see the days when I come in there and I just eat whatever, and the days where I just eat meat, and I eat way less when I'm just eating meat, because as soon as you start eating carbs, your body's telling you to eat more. It's pumping out hormones telling you to eat more when you eat carbs. Ribeyes the best. Kansas City strips. Ashley says, I would eat more fish, but it's so expensive, man. Well, just go fishing, man. Hey, I seen this guy, I think I've seen a couple of them. They're on YouTube, where he's over in Great Britain, or they are people. They go out on the seashore, and they'll go get cockles and stuff like that, and cook them right there on the beach. Sometimes they might find crab, they might find some lobster. Maybe you could go down to the beach and, you got, Mr. Lee, you got beaches all the way around you. Well, you might have a little bit of a drive to get to but maybe you can do that. Yeah, Rex, there you go. Just go fishing. Go fishing. I wish I had some beach like that near me. I'd be down there getting stuff all the time. The lake isn't, that's not good enough. Marinated in some Italian dressing. All right, let's look at this this report here.
Today marks the 25th anniversary of a string of bright white lights seen over the valley in the late evening hours, and it's just kept people talking and curious for years.
I was just a kid when this happened, and it was I was obsessed with it. I wanted to read every single news article about it. I was convinced this was the invasion was days away.
That it was going to happen. Huh?
Yeah, man, this is so cool. It happened right here in Phoenix. We're bringing in Dr. Lynn right now to talk to us just about the mystery of all of this here, 25 years on. Just kind of tell me, what the legacy of the Phoenix Lights is.
Actually, the Phoenix Lights now worldwide is hailed as the most witnessed, most documented, most important mass anomalous sightings in modern history, if not all of history. We have come such a long way in 25 years. The story continues to evolve. It's so exciting because on Sunday, next Sunday, we have a wonderful, wonderful community event at the Scottsdale Harkin Shade Theater, where we show our documentary. It's one of our dozen International Film Festival awards. We're so proud of that. And it's very exciting to see it on the big screen, as well as speakers. We have Navajo Rangers who are law enforcement studying these phenomena, and there's a lot going on in the Navajo Range. We also have new witnesses that had up close and personal sightings during the mass sighting, as well as our own rock star and Phoenix Lights witness Alice Cooper is going to be doing a remote Q&A. And I have to say, for anybody that doesn't know about the Phoenix Lights, while thousands of people were looking skyward for a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet, they also caught a glimpse of Mile, and we learned from the National UFO Reporting Center just a couple years ago that one of these phenomena, whether they were these orbs in rock-solid formation, in V-shape or boomerang shape, and that's my video, by the way, it's showing right now, or actual craft. There were 10 different craft. If people go to the Phoenix Lights Network website, they can look at the illustrations, beautiful illustrations by Larry Lowe, as well as animations. 2 or more people had to see the same craft. And whether it was one craft that could morph, or the perspective from where the person was standing, or an actual parade, which is what what was concluded, because the mass sighting, whatever you've heard, wasn't just 1 or 2 hours. It was many hours, over a dozen hours in over 4 states.
Wow. So tons of documented proof out there. But Dr. Lynn, I just want to know, tell us about your personal connection to it. Where were you that night you took that video, and what was going through your mind?
Thanks for asking, Desiree, because for me, it was just another night. I had actually been witnessing and photographing these anomalous aerial phenomena. I call them UAP now. In 1995, right outside our bedroom window, I captured 35 millimeter photographs, not only then, but 2 years later, 2 months before the mass sighting. Very unique collection, the only one with 35 millimeter. If you go on the photo page on the Phoenix Lights Network website, you can see this unique collection. 2 months before the mass sighting, I caught the same massive over mile wide phenomena head on, turning into a V shape against the wind, according to air traffic controllers at the Sky Harbor International Airport. It was over Class B restricted airspace, 1,000 feet altitude. And then during the mass sighting, I caught the video, and for me, it was just another night. But then I found out that
incredible, Dr. Lynn. I wish we could talk to you all morning. We have to wrap it up. Thank you for sharing your story, and we can catch up.
Actually, you can't stand the barbecue sauce, huh? There's some. I think some are Earth Tech, some not. I think they're probably all Earth Tech, but the question is whether it, our own civilization developed it, or we found leftovers from the previous civilization 13,000 years ago. That I think people, more and more people every day, if they dig into this and start trying to think about the evidence that we have, there was a civilization, a human civilization, more advanced than we are. More advanced than we are, a long, long time ago. Over 13,000 years ago, and they got, a big fucking rock hit the planet and put an end to that shit. And that should be an eye opener for people, because, if a big rock can destroy a more advanced civilization back then, it could easily destroy us now. So we need to be better prepared for such a situation. Mr. Lee says, oysters and cockles are your favorite. Yeah, right there on your shore, man. Russ dropped off by the Phoenix Lights. Where's this show going? Oh, I don't know. We just kind of got on some squatch there. Primal Kitchen. Please explain. Mr. Lee, look up Primal Kitchen. They have all kinds of keto sauces and foods. Yeah. A lot of people use that. Yeah, they use that word primal, like you're eating the primal human diet, what humans ate way back in the day. Unfortunately, some people are including plants in that, and they need to it's humans weren't eating plants. Humans, look, caveman wasn't in his fucking cave making, you know, a nice hollandaise sauce. He wasn't making ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise and shit. He wasn't fucking doing it. He was flint knapping a spear, sticking it on in a stick, and he'd go out and kill the biggest freaking red meated fatty animal he could find, and then they'd hang out around that sucker and eat it. Nobody had they didn't have any, you know, Worcestershire sauce for their steak. They didn't have any horseradish. This is all like, people don't understand. They didn't have this shit. This is stuff that people came up with way after, you know, we lost our way. Our way as a 100% carnivore, almost 100% of the time. And so, you know, yeah, I don't want any sauces on my steak typically. I just want a goddamn steak. Getting stupider and stupider every day. Yeah, that's the truth. Welcome to the chat, Jody. Primal Kitchen link. I mean, you know, if it helps you get closer, you know, to do the keto sauces and recipes and stuff, then yeah, it's good. But I just want people to understand that's ancient man wasn't eating a whole lot of plants before a certain point. It just wasn't our thing. We kind of were forced into it after the Younger Dryas impact. It forced it. I mean, that's because it was only after that the agricultural revolution occurred. We could have had an agricultural revolution, you know, 100,000 years earlier. We were perfectly capable, but we didn't. And we didn't because there was, you know, hundreds of megafauna species on the surface of the planet, and that's what we ate. That's what we specialized in eating. We were the greatest hunters as far as using tools for the hunting. You know, our cousins, the chimpanzees, are over here taking a little stick and putting it in a termite mound. Well, somewhere along the line, that little stick evolved into a spear that could take out a mastodon. No, not directly, but sort of, because it's like people they say, well, they have to use technology. Well, using tools, and the tools just got more and more advanced because we were capable of making tools. A chimpanzee's capable of making a tool. It's just that he can't make one as advanced as we are. He just can't make one as advanced as it. It's real simple tools. And other animals use tools, you know. It's not unnatural to use a tool. Nature made us capable of using tools. It's part of it's our thing, man. We never killed anything with claws. We never killed anything with our teeth. That's how come we lost our big, sharp canine teeth. We don't need them. Humans were never in our evolution running around trying to rip the throat out of shit. We used tools. We used our minds. Sharp sticks, a thrown stone, a trap of some kind, a net, all kinds of different ways that, because we're smart enough to figure this shit out and make these tools. Are any news from the job? They still trying to? Well, I talked to someone about that, and they said, well, they haven't seen anyone actually get swabbed or even wear masks even at the headquarters now. I said they got rid of the mask rule months ago. So my plan is just just sign a document, and if the issue ever comes up, then I'll walk. I'll just tell them, say, look, I can't stay here if you're going to try and stick a potentially contaminated object in any orifice on my body. So So yeah. Let me get rid of that and bring in a new. I don't know what all I got pulled up, but yeah, there we go.
On April 21st, mysterious red lights appeared in the skies above Phoenix, Arizona.
So strange.
Witnesses were bewildered in the neighborhoods below. Brad Drenning fought to grab a video camera, rush into his backyard, and shoot video that was about to become the most viewed clip in iReport.com history.
What if they're aliens? They're out of space. So weird, it's just hovering.
It's little wonder that the people of Phoenix, Arizona are edgy about mysterious objects in the sky. A little over 10 years ago, a similar phenomenon known as the Phoenix Lights was witnessed by thousands in the area.
It was a giant V, all right? And the right side of the V went over us.
Then Governor Fife Symington even held a press conference about it, dressing one of his staffers in an alien costume.
Don't get him too close to me.
Years later, Symington admitted that even he had seen the lights and always believed they were not from this earth.
I suspect that unless the Defense Department proves us otherwise, that it was probably some form of an alien spacecraft.
Could this be the return of the famed Phoenix Lights?
I'm freaking out. They're making a design. Maybe it's a warning sign.
It's not a warning sign, sweetie. It's nothing to worry about.
Turns out he's right. Some guy who wants to remain anonymous has come forward to admit that these mysterious lights were in fact road flares hung from helium balloons.
I didn't know if there's a law against it, but I mean, people launch rockets over at the school in the field, so it's similar to that.
That's a great analogy.
March 13th, 1997. This event called Lights Over Phoenix. What did you see?
Well, I saw a huge craft just kind of come right over Squaw Peak. That was, it was just breathtaking. And I'm not sure about the date. You've got a better memory
March
for the
13th.
dates than I do. Yeah.
But there was no, like the Clinton day, no.
No. No, I was on a strict diet. No, I'm serious. I'm serious now. That unquestionably it was a UFO, which means unidentified flying object.
Doesn't mean we're being visited.
Well, it's nothing like anything I've ever seen.
And you're an Air Force guy.
Yeah, and a pilot. Got a lot of hours flying, so it was pretty breathtaking. And I'll never forget. I snuck out to see it, without DPS, which I'm not supposed to be driving my own car and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I told Ann what I was doing. I was going to go up to Squaw Peak and see what everybody was, clamoring about. And when I walked in the front door, she looked at me, and I was apparently normally I'm fair complected and pale anyway, right? And she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, "she looked like a ghost. What did you see?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what I saw, but it was really something, and I'm not going to talk about it." And
wow.
So,
did it frighten you?
No, I think I was kind of in awe, really,
How big?
Bigger than anything I've ever seen in the sky.
Like an aircraft carrier in the sky?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. And it was hard to define because of the light in terms of the size, but it was absolutely silent and had sort of eerie embedded lights. And, so that's what I saw. And I wasn't expecting to see anything because I was looking out over at Luke to the west. And then all of a sudden, these people in the park area just on the west side of 51, there were a bunch of people there. Everybody said, "Oh, look at that!" And we turned around, and
is the Did the video have no audio? Or are you talking about me? I know I had no audio before this video. Could you? You should have had audio for the video. Yeah, I had myself muted. I didn't get unmuted in between. But I got to be muted for the video, or you'll hear the echo.
This thing was coming from the northwest, traveling to the southeast.
We now know, and it really hit me when we were watching the Diamondbacks in Game 7, and the B-1 flew over. Over the pod.
Yeah, it wasn't a B-1 bomber.
But that thing all of a sudden out of nowhere appears. And, I said to somebody that night, I said, well, you know, when they do test these, they test them in populated areas. They're new stuff. They test it to see if people detect it. Do you believe it was ours? Do you believe it was something from the U.S. government that they were kind of flying around?
No, it wasn't even close to a B. It was much bigger than a B-1. A B-1 actually isn't that big. I mean,
right.
I mean, if it's at low altitude, it'll appear big, but no, this was totally different.
Something, though, that you think our own government may have been kind of running by a populated area to see what would happen?
Well, they certainly achieved their goal of stirring the pot, if that's what they were doing. But I don't think so. I think this was technologically far advanced. I use the analogy. Can you imagine if you took Christopher Columbus and put him in the cockpit of a Boeing 777? What his reaction would be? He wouldn't understand it. He would be convinced that this is something from another world, you know.
Is that what?
And I think I really believe that. I believe that. But I've always been open to that. You know, we're not alone in the universe.
I agree with you.
We're going to find that. We're going to find that out one way or the other. Even Bill Clinton was talking about that the other day on the national news.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I do believe that we're not alone. I just don't know that we've been visited. But you think maybe that night we were?
I think so. Yeah. There've been so many different sort of sightings and inexplicable phenomena that, you know, but the disparity in terms of technological progress would be so vast that we would be, I think, of sort of no consequence to whoever is visiting us, because the technology to get here would be just beyond anything we could imagine.
Did it hover?
No, it was just going in a straight line.
Slow pace.
Yeah, slow pace. Yeah. And then, you know, there were all the sightings.
Flares.
There were the sightings of the America West plane coming into Sky Harbor, said he could have landed on it.
It was enormous.
Yeah.
Like an aircraft carrier in the sky. Is that about as close as
I think that's a fair description.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Maybe it's our next generation we're working on. Who knows?
Well, we'll find out it someday.
So yeah, that's the former governor. Well, yeah, I have to mute myself during the video. I'm not talking during the video. I was only muted between this video and the previous one because I forgot to unmute myself, but it was just for a moment. But if I don't mute myself during the videos, you'll hear an echo, and it makes it where you can't hear what they're saying in the video. Welcome to the chat. What? Is that a South Park reference? Kyle's mom. Jen says, I buy this guy, not over the top. Yeah. I think he's pretty legit. So I don't know, you know, because his story changed and stuff like that. Mr. Hughes says 2121. I don't know what that means. It's a weird article. Good evening, Lockbeard. Hello, what? Or Kyle's mom, whichever it is. Kyle's mom. So, okay, about this incident, are you guys aware? Because, you know, they had thousands of sightings from people on the ground. I guess there was one report from a pilot in the air. Have you guys heard about this and who this pilot was? Because we're about to see who this is. I'm wondering, without Googling it, don't Google it. Does anyone actually know who the pilot was that saw the Phoenix Lights? Jen says that once out of office, he can say it's not a hoax, possibly. Cows, what? Yeah. I'm not seeing anyone saying it in the chat. Well, you're about to see. You're about to see. It wasn't Jeff Bridges. I think I don't know if you insulted Jeff Bridges or this guy. Chessboard says, why would anyone or anything with super intelligence want a warring human species to probe? They wouldn't. It don't make any sense that aliens would come all the way here, and then like half the stuff that these people creating these ridiculous stories, like even like Sitchin, like it was just ridiculous. Aliens would not come here to have a bunch of apes mine gold for them or any of that kind of bullshit. That's just ridiculous nonsense. It don't make any damn sense. You aim your alien advanced sensors, spectrograph some shit out there, some asteroids, and find an asteroid, a chunk of a planet that got blowed up at some point, and you will find a fragment of the core that's extremely high in all the heavy metals you need, including gold, and you're going to get massive amounts, not the tiny amounts that you find on the surface of the Earth. It don't make any goddamn sense that they would come to the surface of a planet when they can just grab a big chunk of rock that just happens to be made of an insane amount of gold, or largely of gold, and they can refine it. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense, these stories that people tell. So this is an interesting twist to the story right here.
There's a story that another story involving you and your son that I want to ask you about, because I don't know the details of the story, but you guys saw a UFO. True?
Oh, you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, it is
in
true.
A plane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Goldie had an experience. She wrote about it in her book. But anyway, so she's not just a firm believer. She had an experience. So one time, Oliver, I was flying. It was in a time where I was kind of like I just a couple of years earlier learned to fly. So I was still in a period in my life where any excuse to fly would do. He wanted to go to Phoenix to see a friend, and I said, "Sure, I'll fly there."
Oh, really? Okay.
So we flew to.
My dad wouldn't drive me to the mall, by the way. Maybe bowling. That was it.
So we're going into Phoenix, and I think it was Sky Harbor, and there's these bank of lights, 6 lights in the shape of a triangle going back right over the airport. And I'm looking at them as I'm coming in. I'm, on the horn talking to them, and I'm coming in. And I'm not saying anything about it because I'm kind of confused by it, but I can't tell if this is going to be an issue or not with landing. And Oliver said, "Hey, Pa, what are those lights?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they are." And so anyway, I called up the tower and I said, "What are you guys painting tonight over the airport?" And they said, "We're not showing anything. What are you seeing?" I said, "Well, there's 6 lights in a row." And they said, "Do you want to report this?" And I said, "Look, I can't identify it. It's flying and it's 6 objects. So that's what it is, right?" So we landed. I dropped him off, flew home. Years later, I come home, and Goldie's watching this show on UFOs. And the most reported one of all time was this one in Phoenix. And I'm watching, I start to see this show and I said, wait a minute. That's the night Ollie and I were landing in Phoenix. I remember that. And I said, wait a minute, I've got it in my logbook. So I went to my logbook and I didn't mention anything about the reporting the UFO, but my flight was logged. So I said, yeah. And on the show, they talked about 20,000 people reporting it and only one general aviation pilot. And I said, that's me. Right? So the weirdest part of that to me, though, was I'd never thought about it from the time I landed until I saw that TV show. And when I saw Oliver the next day, he hadn't either.
Really?
I thought that was kind of bizarre.
That's when you know you have an interesting life, when you go like, yeah, UFO. If you like that video,
Oops, I did it again. Oh, well. Uncle Bones is here. Welcome. Chessport says Jen ES Gold and glass other shielding the shield against radiation and space objects. Well, she's referring to, because I mentioned earlier, because there's people that claim that there's people that claim that aliens came to Earth, genetically engineered humans into a slave race, and used them to mine gold, because apparently the aliens need gold. Whatever. They can get gold in space anywhere in vast quantities, really. Am I going to dress up? I don't know, Mr. Lee. Good point. Well, yeah, I mean, it may seem like that to us, but again, you got to think beyond. You got to think beyond like the human experience. We can't, it's just like when people say, oh, like the hurricane in Florida, they're like, oh, I never experienced a hurricane this bad. It must be man-made global warming. No, it must not be man-made global warming. It's just that sometimes the big hurricanes happen. But humans don't. Your life is so short, you don't experience enough to know this, and you think that you only perceive things from what you experience in your short, pointless life. And that's why people need to watch more sci-fi. It helps, but it doesn't help enough. Sci-fi helps you to kind of think, because they try to explore those ideas, how aliens can think in such an alien manner. But these people here think gold's valuable for some damn reason, but the reality is you got the right. You got the technology. You can just spot an asteroid out there that happens to be heavy with gold and have tons and tons and tons of it. You just need a planetary core fragment. Planet blows up somewhere, or a sun, even a sun. And there's chunks of rock out there that is heavy with gold. That would give them way more gold. Some of these chunks probably would have way more gold than if we scoured every inch of the face of the earth, we'd never get that much gold. There's very little gold on the surface of the earth. That's why it's valuable to us. It's rare to us on the surface of the planet, but in reality, in the universe, it's really not that rare, and it can be easily found. They don't need to go subjugate a monkey people on Earth and have them dig up gold. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea. It's so goddamn ridiculous. I shouldn't be muted anymore. Or I'm just far behind in the chat, I guess. Keyboard without bringing up a block box on my phone. You're not going to believe this, but Cosmic Kitty is live right now. Son of a bitch. Who else thinks what is probably associated with Cosmic Kitty or the trolls of Cosmic Kitty or whatever the fuck nonsense is going on over there? What? Here's the deal. Do not bring up Cosmic Kitty here ever again. If you bring up Cosmic Kitty up here again, I'm gonna know. Okay, this is how I'm gonna know that you are part of that whole troll factory over there. Whatever the fuck, I don't know what the fuck's going on over there. I don't know if Cosmic Kitty is truly being trolled by people or if Cosmic Kitty is the source of all this nonsense. But if you bring up Cosmic Kitty here again, I think that a lot of people here are going to agree that you need to be fucking banned. Because it certainly looks like it to me. Not very subtle there. no kitty talk. Yeah, this is something's. I'm sensing some bullshit going on here. What's never here, but every time Cosmic Kitty comes up. No, it's past the other day. It was Tom Cruise, that douchebag. Pulling up a block box. You can't hear me, right? Uncle Bone says, Donald Fuller, I suggest you get a good one. Mine is a high-powered Omen gaming laptop. I have heard the fans kick in only once. Plenty of guts to let it run whatever you want in the future. There's a block box. Angel says, yes, we can hear you. Heard you loud and clear. They told, I think, most of it over on Moke's channel. I would kind of like to, address what happened in my chat in relation to that at some point. But I need time, and it's going to take a lot of time. I need a staff to do some of this shit. I tell you what, I need a staff to do it. I need some people to do some shit for me. The one when you click on someone's name, Uncle Bone says, yes, we hear you. Get what you pay for. Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know. Are y'all feeling that? It looks to me like what shows up, Cosmic Kitty somehow gets brought up, and then we don't see what for a while, and nobody hears anything about no Cosmic Kitty. But then one day, what shows up again, and does what? Brings up Cosmic Kitty again. I don't give a fuck about Cosmic Kitty. No one in here is going over to Cosmic Kitty's channel. We don't give a fuck. We don't want to troll Cosmic Kitty, and we don't want to watch Cosmic Kitty. So why in the fuck did you bring up Cosmic Kitty in the middle of this? We're not talking about no goddamn Cosmic Kitty. That's a little bit how much they cost. Kind of task. 51 love my phone. Jen says, got you down on my keyboards at the bottom of the chat, so unless I click on a name, it doesn't pop up. Yep. Lockbeard, I'm very observant. No need to worry. Well, I ain't worried. I'm just thinking, we've identified a goddamn troll, is what I'm thinking. And yeah.
World of Scottsdale last night for all the family fun, but when
it was time for the fireworks, some people noticed something else lighting up the night sky.
You got to check this out. That is video from one of our photographers that they sent in. We're still trying to figure out exactly what this is. So maybe
we open up Crystal's microphone to get her take on this too.
Or maybe someone out there can help us too.
Yeah,
take a look. It could be a meteor, maybe some space junk, maybe something left behind from the fireworks. We just don't really know.
There were two lights at first. First, they looked like they're bright orange, sort of hovering right there. One of them disappeared. That's out of the picture now. But now you see this one. The second one starts kind of swirling down in the sky. And if you look closely, it does kind of look like a fireball at one point as it descends down and down, then eventually out of sight.
Yeah, so it's a little over my head, but maybe someone out there can give us the answer.
Crystal, any thoughts on that?
No. And, Mike, check. You know what? The only fun answer is aliens. Yeah, aliens. But all possible guesses welcome here at this point.
That's right.
whatever. I think last time you were here, we were kind of thinking you were being a troll. So you're not here every time. You show up every so often and bring up Cosmic Kitty. Something's up here, I think. Something's up. Cinnamon Ace debated. I did, but I don't know why you're bringing up Cosmic Kitty, again. And last time, I think we were kind of thinking you were here to. You're not here. You're here under false pretenses. What exactly you're up to? But it seems to be Cosmic Kitty advertising or some shit. I don't know. Cosmic Mom. Donald says a lot was taken out of context with the Rimmer stuff. Same thing happened when I commented about leaving fish behind as a gift and the warden's not liking it too much the other night. I meant it as, yeah. Well, I mean, I got some stuff I just kind of worked up a thing to put up about this. I need to be able to find the time to put into it, and it's just I don't know if I'm going to be in a lot of hotels. Of course now it's winter. The computer will work better. The summertime, really, the computer didn't want to work. But I also need a better computer to do some of this stuff I've been doing. I've really been pushing the limits of this thing, and so hopefully in time I can get that, where I can get a new one and be able to do this stuff a little better. Well, I don't know what I just remember last time we were here, we were kind of thinking you might be up to something. Joke and took it as you being a joke. Yeah. Gotta handle. Am I still muted? Really? It doesn't show that I'm muted. Okay, well, I don't know why Rex said I was muted. I wasn't muted. Talk about your equipment. You hear me? Low Kilroy says I'm picking up a definite familiar troll stench. Yeah. We've had such a bit of an issue with that person. So whenever someone comes in out of blue and brings it up, it's just kind of. But I seem to remember we were kind of thinking what might be some type of troll before. So. Kind of electronic equipment might you need for a crime scene cleanup? Would I need any kind of sniffer? I know most of the safety gear, respirators, Tyveks, I don't know anything about this. Somebody here know about that stuff? Uncle Bones says, Rex hand, you may need to refresh or back out and come back in. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone else says they can hear me, and it says I got audio, so it's got to be something, a problem on your end at this point. Okay, got it. Mr. Lee says, Rex, you have a problem with your audio. Sounds like you got it fixed, Mr. Lee. Sounds like you got it fixed. Yeah. Moral of the story is people need to watch more sci-fi. Get exposed to more different ideas of how aliens how aliens would be. Well, sci-fi can set you on the wrong course too. Sometimes they can give you ridiculous ideas and stuff, and people just kind of run with it. But I think in general, it's got a positive effect. It's just people want so badly for there to be aliens coming to Earth, and whereas that may be a possibility, but just something that's probably kind of unlikely. Like you'd have to believe, and you have no reason to believe this, is that we are somehow unique and interesting to somebody out there. We probably aren't. I mean, we're very curious. It's our nature. But what if that isn't a normal thing for intelligent life out in the universe? So they may not even desire to leave their planet. They may look out and say, look, the space is an inhospitable place. It's dangerous. It's costly. Why don't we just hang out where we evolved and where we're designed to be, and just take care of this place and be safe? That may be the most prevalent point of view. And even if they are a species that has gone out and explored some, they're probably seen, 100 different intelligent species that are just like us. Maybe they don't look physically just like us, but anything we got that we think we're just interesting and unique, that it's out there somewhere. They're not going to be. It's not going to be like Star Trek, where we want to explore every single world. That's how humans are. That's how I am. It'd be cool to go out there and explore every world out in the universe. See what's there. But and certainly there may be other species that are like that out there. It's just the universe is vast, and it's just, we probably shouldn't jump to the conclusion so fast that we're being visited. This stuff we're seeing in the skies is probably, for the most part, government tech. I think that they have acquired tech from the ancient civilization, and that some of that civilization may still exist. You know, the whole moon thing. I put some of that in the intro to the show because I think there is some merit to that idea that the moon is not a natural moon. It was constructed. It was built, and it's just covered in dust and rocks now, but it was built thousands of years ago. Probably by our ancient ancestors, not aliens. So yeah. Well, the chat's taking off on me. Try to get new subscribers a chance to speak though without thinking they are trolls. I can still tell straight away though. Just saying. I think this one's a troll. It's just, yeah. Donald says, chessboard, I don't have the money to be throwing at a computer right now. I would buy another Acer, just can't afford. Yeah. Everything takes money to do everything. El Cabone says, Donald, check out eBay. You will be in lock shoes, barely getting by computer wise. Yeah. Rexhan says the iron in asteroids is worth more. Yeah, I mean, if they find a planetary core fragment or a fragment from a sun that exploded, they could find massive asteroids the size of freaking. Well, they could probably. I mean, if it's a chunk of a sun, they might be able to find a chunk out of a sun the size of the Earth, the size of a planet that's made almost entirely out of iron and other metals, including gold and platinum and all the metals, like everything there. Like it makes no sense whatsoever that aliens would want to go genetically engineer and enslave ground apes on Earth to find the minuscule, tiny amounts of gold on the surface. It don't make any damn sense. You blocked Mr. Lee. You blocked WWW real fast. Did he block him? Jen says, if we were being visited, maybe they are just passing by going, look at these folks trying to catch damn credit cards. Better without credit. I didn't think Mr. Lee was going to block him. I'm not saying we should block him just yet. I'm just saying I've got my eye on him or her, whichever it is. Belmont says chat's free speech as long as someone isn't degrading another person and let them have what is theirs. You would be pissed off at getting blocked for saying some dumb shit. Yeah, eventually I'd let it be for now. Donald says, Bones, the last eBay purchase I made, I got burnt, and eBay's solving protocol does nothing to deter these scammers. Yeah, Mr. Lee, we need to reel it back. I don't think you need to be blocked just yet. Pointed it out to me. What looked like gray? 2 years out of me like he used to. Donald Fuller says, sorry for your bad experience. Go to Best Buy, refurbish, shop around. Get a new laptop while we're all in the 1,000 to 1,400 range. 200 to 400 went on sale. don't remember what this one cost. This one was like 1,700, I think, and probably needed the better version. Mr. Lee says, "Bat Mom, I think you get on my back a lot. Why is that? Does she?" I don't know. I mean, I think we need to keep an eye on what, but I don't think it's blocking time yet, Mr. Lee. We really got to be easy on that. We want people to have free speech, but if what comes in here again and brings up Cosmic Kitty, I'm going to think that they are trolling us. And I'll do that. Don't block what. If it's bots and stuff like that, you have at it. But as far as actually blocking someone like that, it's a real person, I'll handle that. Too late now, but don't like two-faced shady shit or contradiction from no one. I will say something if it's gonna hurt. I don't discriminate against you though. Well, let's not fight. Take it easy. Like I said, I was worried about making mods because I want to make sure that I'm really, really clear. Like, we're not blocking anybody. We're letting them have free speech. Just block the porn bots and stuff like that. And if it comes to a point where I think someone is just here to be disruptive, I'll block that person. But let me make that decision. This is why, like, mods, it can be a real slippery slope with mods. Making sure the mods are on the same page and understand like where when it's time to block. And here it's no time to block like a person. It's a bot, get rid of it. Posting links like you do, Mr. Lee, that's a good thing. But as far as like blocking someone in the case of like what, I mean, I want to keep an eye on them, and just see where it goes. And if I come to the point where I think this person is only coming here to be disruptive, then I'll do that. I'll do that blocking there. Yeah, I kind of figured that. See you later, Mr. Hugh. Yeah, and hit him. Lil Kilroy says, I got blocked on World Bullshit Radio because I said the best thing about his show was that it was short. Kind of okay. He might have taken it personally. Like, I think he might be short. How tall is that guy? You can't call Glag short these days. Angel says, Donald, keep an eye on Walmart's clearance. I've seen them under $200 for like a laptop, but what are the capabilities of those laptops? So, I mean, at this point, I really don't want to. I wouldn't want to go to a different type. And again, there's too much adaptation, and then I'm just too entrenched in the Apple stuff. It took a while to get adapted to it, but I mean, I definitely think it's more, like viruses and stuff, man. all the time problem with that kind of crap. Like on my HP and stuff like that. And that's those days are pretty much over. I was all the time having to take laptops to computer stores. Like, dude, I don't know, this thing's fucked, and try to have them fix it and recover it or whatever. This thing, it's a MacBook Air, and the cooling system, like you'd have to like look it up and see. It's pathetic on the MacBook Air. It's far better on the upgraded version, the better version. It's MacBook Pro, I think it's called. That could probably handle the heat a lot better. I mean, ideally, I need to just be in climate controlled conditions with the damn computer, because I'm outside. I'm basically outside all the time. So I'm in the heat, I'm in the cold, in the humidity, rain. I get by just fine. Computer, not so much. It don't like that stuff. It don't like that stuff. Lowrider says, if I was a mod, I'd only block someone that says anything bad about turtles. Donald says, okay, Angel, Uncle Bones, and Chessboard, I'll keep my eye out. Thank you. Miss Lee says, Bat Mom, if you have a problem with me, spit it out. And she says she just did. Y'all don't fight. I mean, she was correct, Mr. Lee. I didn't want him blocked or silenced. I just, I thought I just made it clear to him that I was, or her, whichever it is. I mean, that's part of the problem with the name. Like, what? I don't know what the fuck you are. I don't know what you are, who you are. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know anything. And so I thought I made it clear to what that it's certainly, it's looking to me like we might have a troll situation here. So yeah, no, I didn't want them blocked or silenced in any way. Just let that person know that they're kind of on my radar. And if it gets to a point that this person is just being disruptive, and I'm pretty certain that that's all they're here to do, then I'll handle the blocking of that person. Probably not what you do. She hasn't contacted me. Well, let's let it go. It's all right. What's here? We don't really know who anybody is on that. Well, that's true. That's true. But we've gotten to see or hear a lot of these people here. Some of them even have their own pictures up, or using their own names. There's just absolutely no indication of who you are, what. And so when, someone shows up completely undercover like that, it's immediately, you got to wonder why they got to be so completely anonymous like that. Because I've had people, like, someone attacked me some time back about, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My real name is on the intro of every live stream. Yeah. Donald says, give B a chance through chessboard. Give B a chance. What's that about? with the aliens, we could be a possible food source. Missing, you talking about missing 411? Absolutely, 100%. No, not even remotely. There are thousands and thousands of plants on this planet that are poisonous to us. Every plant is poison. By the way, let's make this abundantly clear. Every single plant that you're eating that you think is food, it's not food. It's poisonous. Every food's poison. But a lot of the plants are like poisonous enough that you can't deny they're poisonous. Like some of them will kill you if you eat them. That's plants that are on our own world, right? To think that it's remotely possible that any kind of life form on a completely alien planet would be remotely compatible with your digestion, with your system at all, that it would serve as proper nutrition in any way. If you ate something from another world, you are at best, you're going to get sick, but you're probably going to fucking die. It's going to be poisonous to you in one way or another. It's not remotely like us. This is something that's evolved on a completely different world. The chances that it could be even tolerable are extremely slim. So, no way. I don't think there's aliens eating us. Short answer. I don't think it's remotely possible. That mom says she don't trust www. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, something's up here, but we got to keep our eye on it. Well, y'all just let her go. In fact, I can give it to you here. Watch your email. Pictures can be fake too. Well, no shit. Just because an account has a pic with somebody doesn't mean that's who they really are. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Hopefully, delete. Got it. Let me know when you got it. I'll remove it. Chessboard. Good things are happening in chat, says Uncle Bones. Certain names that you know is personally connected to that person. You think you're Sherlock. It sounds like there's something. You're like Will Superior. I don't know exactly what that means. Yeah. So, yeah. What? Just again, I don't want to block this person at this point. I just was letting this person know that they're kind of on the radar as a possible troll. See the reaction. It's not trolling, no. We're definitely getting trolled by somebody connected with this cosmic kitty thing over here. There's definitely some trolling. You do not want to get yourself connected with the trolling from the cosmic kitty thing, because if you are, and I become certain of it, I will block the fuck out of you. Because you're just a troll. This cosmic kitty thing is a troll. Someone showed up here. This all started a long time ago. Someone showed up here and And yeah, so it's definitely a troll. There's a troll going on. So if I think that you are part of that, you will get blocked. Because being a blatant troll, I think, is a justifiable reason to go ahead and get rid of you. Let's see here. Just where am I at in chat? It's just conversation. Time for bed. See you later, Mr. Lee. Have a good night. Donald says, thank you very much. That's where I'll get you back or pay it forward. Someone connected to it has been in here. I suggest you don't bring it up again, because something don't smell right here, and yeah. Send you an email in a few. Green Paws is here. Welcome. So yeah, here we are 25 years later. We don't know what the hell was in the sky. And I mean, the difference, of course, being recently the government's finally admitted that there are UFOs. I mean, thousands of people saw this thing 25 years ago. Thousands more have seen UFOs all over the place. Government's finally admitting, they have to admit they're there. I think that's all that's going on, is that they, at this point, they know they look like they make themselves look like obvious liars if they continue to deny that they're there. But unfortunately, you remain liars, because they lie about everything, right? They lie about a lot of shit. And so when they tell us, well, we admit that they're there, but we don't know what they are, they're fucking lying. They know exactly what they are. Some of it's probably them. So, hoping you are having a good night. I think we need to go ahead and wrap her up, unless somebody's got something in particular to say.
Jesus Christ! Oh, can we try the big silver one again?
I don't think there's aliens on the moon. I think there's humans inside the moon. Batmom says, Green Paws congestion because darn kid brought it home. How are you? Aliens already here. I don't think they are. Don says, in Tic Tac are our technology. Yeah, probably so. Green Paul says that I missed the whole show. Such a Green Paul's thing I did. Yeah, he did. Military base. I don't even think. Well, I mean, they may have added one on, but I think the moon was constructed. It was a structure made by the ancient civilization long, long ago. And again, in the intro, like you see some artists interpretation of what that may look like, but that's not, of course, we don't know that for certain. But that thing, it's been there for thousands of years. So it was built by a civilization long, long ago. And I think it was humans. It was just a prior civilization. And so if they've built a base, like if our civilization has built a base up there, I think the only way they got away with that is if the moon is no longer occupied. I hate to think that it's no longer occupied. I hope that the ancient civilization continues to exist there. Because people ask, well, where could it be? Well, there's this big fucking thing in the sky, and there's some things that don't make sense about it if you want to think it's a natural moon. But they could be up there. And watching, perfect place to observe from. Now, maybe they gave permission. Maybe they gave permission for us to put a base up there. Maybe that base is more than just a military base. Maybe it's a consulate, a diplomatic place to interact with them. Not the big silver one. When I said there were ships on the moon, not of the earth. Yeah, I mean, it may have seemed to him that they weren't of the earth, but if he knew, and maybe he learned later, that the moon was constructed by humans here, most likely. Because look, that thing took a lot of time and resources to build. Why would some alien race build this big thing and then just park it in orbit around our planet? That don't make any sense. What does make sense is that maybe the ancients knew that there was a big enough rock flying at the earth and that they were not going to be able to stop it, and decided to build the moon to evacuate to. Maybe it would, of course, people say, well, no, that would have been more. They could have sent up Bruce Willis. I'm sure they had their Bruce Willis. They could have, or maybe it was just easier for them to build a goddamn moon. Because you look at all these megalithic structures all around the world, all these massive, massive stones, that it was clearly very easy for them to move extremely large, heavy objects. They had command of gravity. They had to. There's no way some ancient Bronze Age, people did that stuff. And that's pretty much, if anyone believes that shit, those damn archaeologists sitting there trying to saw on a stone with some primitive, no, that's not how they cut stone. They got laser precise cut stone in these monuments. Those people had lasers and they had anti-gravity. That's almost guaranteed. Now, I don't have direct evidence of that, as far as finding the actual tech, but the government probably hides that shit away as soon as it turns up. But what we do have is the monuments, because the only way they can get rid of that evidence is by destroying all the monuments. And they do destroy archaeological sites from time to time. It shit happens. They'll cause a war in a region, and then it'll get destroyed, and they'll be like, oh, fuck, it's, these crazy people down here, they tore this thing up, and it was, yeah, whatever. You guys are trying to hide it wherever you can. That there was an ancient, extremely advanced civilization on this planet, and they don't want us to know it for some reason. Probably because they know that if we figure that out, that maybe we'll start looking harder for sites that they haven't found and find some of the technology, and they don't want that to happen. They don't want us to know how goddamn advanced this technology is that they found. Name, always wondered. The Pew attacking baby chicken hawk, it's all wrong. Paws are green. sometimes things are simple. You wouldn't know if you saw them, they'd be green. So you got more than a green thumb, you got green paws, so you can grow plants really well, huh? Donald says, I beg to differ. Moon is nothing more than a rock like us. Well, there's those things that, what about the stuff that indicates, when they determine the density of the moon's way lower density than what it should be. Just the size of it is in relation to Earth. No planet has a moon that is that big in relationship to it. They call it tidally locked, but only one, always keeps one face pointed at us. It's possible it could have happened naturally, but then of course there was when they impacted the moon and it rang like a bell for a long time. Now they've tried to explain that away, but I'm not buying their excuse. It rang like a bell because underneath all that rock and dust, it's a hollow metal sphere. And there's other stuff. There's other stuff that indicates that it was constructed, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to go up there. They don't want us going up there. I don't know. They would probably just use a satellite for that. So you have to buy plenty of tinfoil. Troy says, you mean there are more intelligent species of human than we currently have now, or extraterrestrials? Yeah, I can't admit to that. There's a problem. What I'm saying is that our civilization is not the greatest human civilization to ever exist. That the ancient ones, ancient people had rises and falls in civilization, and it's hard to say, how many times it rose and it fall. Right? We've had probably some false starts, and we've been capable of doing all this shit. Now, like we've had the brain, the capacity to do this for hundreds of thousands of years, and we could have had 10 or 20 civilizations rise and fall in that time, but we know at least one for sure because we got the evidence all over the place. And people just cannot, because they say, oh, well, where's the metal? Well, you don't build out of metal because metal rusts. Nature doesn't like you to make something in a purified, form like that typically. There's a reason why, because it disintegrates and it wants to put it back into the natural circumstances where it's not in a purified form like that. But stone is, stone lasts. And they were able to cut very precisely and extremely large stones that we can't do that. We don't even have the ability to pull that off at this point. Green Paul's can't vaccine for COVID. God, you need a hug, a few dozen hugs. Well, I think the ancient human civilization built it. And as far as that's government trying to poison you. Don't let them do it. Don says, where's the evidence of the concrete plants they used to make that big of a structure? I don't think it's made of concrete. I think they made it out of titanium. There's a lot of titanium up there. Look at the samples they got from the moon, high in titanium. After being impacted by asteroids, I'm sure some of that surface titanium has been pulverized into a powder. But I think there were samples that were up to like 11% titanium. That's not even that you can't have that unless something fishy's going on, like underneath the surface, it's titanium sphere, artificial structure. Troy says they want us to know because they would fail to be able to control the population. All about control. Yeah, everything's about control. Smelling the trolls? Yeah, smell the trolls. Don't want us to know all these conspiracies on my. Yeah, but there's actual scientific evidence that indicates the moon's hollow. It's not enough to like make people believe and make mainstream science take notice, but they keep trying to explain it away, you know. But the reality is there's like look at something like the craters. You have these wide ass craters, but they're very, very shallow. And there's some uniformity to how shallow all the craters are, no matter how big around they are. None of them go any deeper than a certain point. And, you know, you have to ask, well, why the hell is that? Because it shouldn't be like that. That's not what we see on Earth. So why is it like that on the moon? The only way to explain that is that underneath the surface layer of rocks and dust is an extremely tough surface underneath there. And a titanium ore of some kind, or maybe it's straight up titanium. I don't know, but there's titanium samples from the moon, you know, in the surface material, and the whatever's underneath that surface is clearly extremely tough. Otherwise, the craters wouldn't be the way they are. And if the thing is a hollow metallic sphere, a gigantic constructed moon, well, that would explain why the impact experiment resulted in ringing like a bell for hours. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that adds up to the thing. It pretty much can't be a natural moon. It has to be constructed. You know, it's crazy. Hey, I know it sounds crazy at first, but if you look at all the little bits of evidence we do got, there's no way there's a natural moon up there. That's somebody built that damn thing. And flat earthers are missing out on that. I see you mentioned flat earth down there. This is my farewell post to all you Lockbeard followers, says Green Paws. He said moon was built. It's a rock. Maybe take advice from people who are experts. Green Paws, go now. I can't follow a guy who says moon was built. Well, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Green Paul says humans destroy everything on Earth. Path get weapons. What do you think would happen, Mr. Lockbeard? Oh no. Donald says I believe flat Earth before fake moon. Look into the evidence. Look into the evidence. Who's stopping you from going? Money. Stopping who from going where? Who's stops from going where? Donald Force's email sent by chessboard. Tractor pull to go mod. Thank you, Lockbeard. Nice folks. See you later, Donald. I don't think that's what happened. I think it was built and it got covered in asteroids and dust over the last several thousand years. Look at that. Look into that evidence. We talked about this before. I don't know why anybody's acting surprised right now about this. Jen says, hey, Chessword, what was the name of the app to run the drive?
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because, you know, people are very resistant to certain things. They just can't wrap their mind, you know. Sometimes reality is stranger than the fiction. And this, I know this particular thing it's hard to believe, but if you look at the bits of evidence we have and It just adds up to the damn thing was constructed. And, you know, if we were talking about ancient human civilization that had command over gravity, they were able to move these gigantic stones with great ease because they could cancel out gravity around an object. Well, they could have lifted all the material up into orbit to build the thing with ease. No big deal. They see, it's really hard for us to get shit in orbit because we're sticking it on top of a canister full of fuel and blowing it up there, and sometimes we blow shit up and fuck it up and, you know, kill people, and it's just it's a messy, just grueling, expensive load of shit. The ancients wouldn't have had that problem. They may have had their rocket age, I don't know, but there's no way they built all these megalithic structures without command over gravity. So yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh, can we try the big silver one again?
Iron Sky. See you later. Yeah. You know, it's just not what the scene's in front of our eyes. Well, mainstream science tries to say that the Earth was impacted at some point, blah blah blah. It doesn't make any sense though. Like, I don't know. I mean, you just got to get. I like to say to people who don't believe that, like, if you're really interested in figuring out, you know, dig into it. The more you dig, the more you run into, you're like, what the fuck? Wait a minute. This thing, you finally be like, holy shit, this can't be an actual moon. It just can't be. Just as chessboard, I had to wait to use that hard drive. You said a certain program, can't remember now. Get Peter. All right, y'all. We went way over time.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
It's a fake.
Here's $50.
Thanks for coming, y'all. I'll see you next time.